Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. We are Heart Dream, and we wish you a happy and peaceful Christmas.
Good morning. Welcome to our Unity of Walnut Creek service. My name is Don Shaw.
And my name is Danae Legan. Welcome to our service. And today, what's today? Birthday Sunday! And it's Kristin's birthday. So, if you have a birthday in December, stand up so that we can recognize you and sing happy birthday. Oh, look at, oh, great, yay! Yay! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. Oh, please join us now in turning to the camera and waving to the folks at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community, and thank you for joining us this morning.
And thank you, Larry. I can't even see Larry. Melissa, thank you. And big treat, we have our own Heart Dream with us today, Steve and Mirabai. Thank you for sharing your music with us today. And this is very exciting. It's about 2 weeks old. It's their 6th album of original songs. We're going to hear a couple of them during the service today. Am I wrong? The Meditation and one of the numbers are off this album. So see Steve and Mirabai after the service, and I'm sure you could negotiate and haggle and maybe work out a deal.
It's available on CD, USB thumb drive, and digital download.
You guys are so techy.
And you can also visit them at heartdream.com. And Reverend Kristin is going to deliver today's message, which is the second in the Advent series. Today's message is titled, Peace Like a River. Yeah.
So before we begin, I invite you to turn your devices to silent as we enjoy this sacred service together.
Now, let's take a breath and be grateful for the land that we are sitting on and that our center rests on. This is Bay Miwok, Ohlone, and Yukat's land.
We honor its ancestry, and we're grateful for those who came before us. We commit to taking care of these sacred grounds and Mother Earth.
And Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
Our mission is who we have come here to be. Let's say this together.
We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all.
Stay with me. Our core values are
Love, connection, service, and wisdom. And if you're here with us for the first time, if you feel comfortable, please raise your hand so we may acknowledge you. Yay!
Hello.
Welcome.
We love you both.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you with us today. And after the service, visit our bookstore right across the way here, and you can have a welcome packet and a little gift. And if you need any help, talk to an usher. And we hope you'll choose to stay and meet some of us on the patio after service. And there are events going on which we're going to discuss in the back room, so please come and join us.
Connection cards are available in the newcomer welcome packets and in the seat pockets in front of you. These are for everyone with this card.
Tyler, you want to hold that up? There you go.
Thank you, Vanna. Would you like to buy a vowel? You may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week.
You may share feedback or request information, and please place your card in the basket with the offering. And for those of you watching online, connection cards are available on the Watch Live page on our website.
Please consider comfort levels when hugging before or after the service. And we welcome you to socialize on the patio after the service and visit our bookstore, which is right across the patio.
And it's not raining, so that's awesome. We can be outside too. We have several activities, more than a few, to highlight this week. And I'd like to add that all of the things you're about to hear are also on the website, so you don't need to take notes. Unity's Holiday Craft Fair is today after the service, and it's a blast in there. Join us in the community room to enjoy holiday music and refreshments as you shop for handmade crafts and holiday gifts.
And not only that, Father Christmas will be making an appearance. And so if you've got your wish list ready, Father Christmas already knows what you want, but he likes to hear it from you in person. We have a couple of giving opportunities. It's not all about receiving, it's about giving. So we have some giving opportunities for our less fortunate neighbors. You can provide food for families which are served by the Monument Crisis Center. Pick up a flyer on the patio and it'll tell you what food is needed, and all the contributions need to be here at Unity by next summer.
Plenty of time to shop.
That's Unity time, next Sunday, December 11th. Also, provide a comforting teddy bear for a child in foster care. So, purchase a bear in the Unity bookstore and bring it into the sanctuary. They'll soak up our love on Sunday services through December 18th, and then they will be delivered to the children.
Okay, now here's a question. Would you like to spread love and holiday cheer through caroling? Yes. Okay,
Yes, I
good.
would.
Okay, good. Well, good. Join me on Tuesday, December 20th at 6 p.m. as we sing holiday carols to the residents of Kensington Retirement Center right across the way here. It's a heartwarming evening of song and joy for all. I've done it a couple of times, and it's just amazing. The residents really soak up the love.
And the holidays are a bit of paradox because they're full of joy, but for some people, the holidays can bring up past hurts and things that need to be healed. So Unity is offering a special Heart Math cut-through class to help you heal emotionally. Mm-hmm. Carol Jansen is going to be doing this from the comfort of her home via Zoom right into the comfort of your home. So that'll be on Wednesday, December 21st, Wednesday the 21st of December at 7 p.m. More details next week.
And please see our website for a full listing, registration, and login information about all of our events. And you may also register for events in the bookstore or visit our welcome table for flyers
Ta-da!
and information, including our holiday event listing.
There's so much, it's two-sided.
That's it. That's it.
There will be no spiritual growth circle for the month of December. We'll reunite on Tuesday, January 3rd in the sanctuary.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Happy Advent Day of Peace. So, it's not today. It's December 30th. It's the whole month. It's the whole month, yeah. I like the way you celebrate. So we have the Byrne family with us today. Allison Byrne with baby JJ and Ella. There are more to the Byrne family. That would be Father Joe and Lily, who's home healing from some tummy flu. So Allison and her family are going to read our Advent peace message and light the candle. And then it'll be followed by meditation.
Peace I am, peace I am, peace I am,
Hello. Hi, guys. The Advent reading for peace is December 4th of 2022. This is Ella. By the Reverend Beatrice Galerno-Bell writes, "Peace is a choice. Regardless of the circumstances I am going through, it is up to me to live from my center of peace. For many years, living a hectic life with many external requirements, I wondered how to live in peace. Then one day, away from the bustle of the city, I sat on the bank of a small stream. Its calm waters sounded melodious when colliding with the small stones. I sat there listening to that harmonious sound as it flowed and flowed. In a few minutes, my body relaxed and my mind was calm. At that moment, I realized inner peace was possible, that this can be a real state of being. It is up to us to find the tools and resources to achieve it and to stay in it. Peace is a choice. It is up to me to decide, moment by moment, whether I reject it or I claim it and accept it. I remember to let go of anything that might disturb me. I choose peace. Now we light the Advent candle of peace." Want to help me? Help me.
peace I am, peace I am, peace I am, peace I am, faith, peace, love, joy, peace.
Just invite you to stay in this meditative space as we're going to enjoy a little more music and some guidance and silence.
Soham Shantih, Soham
continue that beautiful chant within our own hearts. Soham Shantih. I am that I am. I am the expression of the divine as peace, as faith. I fall into the river of peace within me that moves and flows with spirit. It guides me ever so gently in the direction I am called to go. My way is made easy. Whatever it is that is within me now, a way of being or thinking that doesn't serve anymore, this is my opportunity to let go, to give it over into the river of life itself, to let it be free and me. So we bring to this river our burdens, our tears, our limitations, the old ways that have run their course. We let it all go. So that good may come from the transformation in the waters, the living waters to which we have released. If there is one thing on your heart or mind today that could free you by letting it go, I invite you to give it over now. Watch as it disappears in the bend of the river. Feeling the freedom, the peace. Let's let the river flow through us as simply as the breath of God. Breathing in and knowing I am that I am. And breathing out, exuding peace in the silence. and filled as we are now from the river of peace and the silence. Let's send out our blessings of peace in every direction, whoever and wherever you wish to bless, especially this morning. Let peace rain down upon them. Let the rivers of peace flow through the hearts and the souls and the minds of those you wish to bless, whether they be individuals or nations, places, people, animals. Let the rivers of peace flow from the throne of God, the very source, the crystal river headwaters, the glacial beginnings, these sacred places from which the source begins and includes each one. Let's let the waters of peace lift us all up as one body of the divine, and be blessed in every way by peace. And so it is.
Dwelling
Thank you, Heart Dream. Welcome, everybody online. Thank you for being with us. And all of you right here in this cozy sanctuary. Yeah, thanks to Danae and the team of elves that created all this beauty. Actually, I think they're in the house. If you help decorate, will you stand and let us really celebrate you? Ah, all right. I can tell it was done with lots of love. Oh, it feels good to be in that energy. And then how about this rain? Oh, thank you, God, right? Last week we were talking about faith like a mountain, and I was mentioning how the mountains surround us here and create this feeling of a valley of grace. And then it's like, think about the rains coming down on the mountains, and now the greening in this valley of grace that's already happening, the rivers flowing soon. It's good stuff. And today we're going right into the river of peace. So there we go. That source, that manna from heaven that comes forth, that is rain, sources these rivers, and we ourselves then are a part of that, right? Our lives, our essence, the being that we are, the I am that we just sang about during the meditation time. So bodies of water like rivers are considered very sacred. There are rivers around the world where people make sacred pilgrimages, such as the Ganges in India, to go to the source of the river, and that is a huge religious experience for some people. There are places where we go to the headwaters of rivers, or the places of convergence, or where the river meets the sea, and all of this is considered to us sacred. There's some kind of innate knowing about the power of a river and the flow of all that happens with that sourced water and its journey often back to the Mother Ocean, right? Or to other larger bodies of water, all the tributaries, and so much in the richness in that sacredness. And sacred, experiences in the history of spirituality have happened, well-known ones such as when Jesus was baptized in the River Jordan. And remember, when he came up from the water, there was a peace dove above his head, considered to be an emblem of the Holy Spirit. Siddhartha became the Buddha after crossing many rivers seeking peace and freedom from suffering. And it was on the banks of the Phlagu River where he was said to have become enlightened. And that Enlightenment Day is celebrated this week on December 8th. So much, there's so many other stories. One of my favorite spiritual stories that involves rivers is the one by Richard Bach in his storybook Illusions. You might remember it's a goodie, an oldie but goodie, right? He's also the one who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, so you probably know that one. Anyway, this story goes that there once lived a village of creatures at the bottom of a clear crystal river. And the current of the river just swept silently over them, all of the creatures that were all related and part of this one group. They were rich and poor, they were old and young, they were all different kinds of forms and shapes and colors and sizes, but they were one body of creatures that belonged to one another. And each creature clung to the twigs and the rocks at the river bottom because that's the way it had always been, because generation after generation, this is what the creatures did. They clung. They were bottom clingers to the river. And it was all that they knew, so the current would come by them and it seemed like it just was its crystal self, and this is what they did. But there was one creature that didn't like it. He didn't want to cling. He said, I am tired of clinging. Though I cannot see it with my eyes, I trust that this current knows where it's going. And I shall go too. I'm going to let go and let it take me where it will. Just clinging like this, I will die of boredom. And the other creatures laughed. Ha, 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 little creature. Fool. They said, let go, and that current that you worship so much, it's just going to throw you and smash you against the rocks, and you will die quicker than boredom will ever kill you. But this one did not heed them. He took a big, deep breath and let go. And at once, it was true, he was tumbled and smashed all along the river and bruised. But yet in time, as he refused to cling again, the current of the river lifted him free. And he began to flow freely with the river with a great joy, and he was bruised and hurt no more. Down the river, as he came, there were other creatures like him, but they were strangers, had never seen him before. And they started to shout out as they were clinging, "It's a miracle," they said, "a creature like ourselves, yet he flies. See, the Messiah has come to save us all." And the one carried in the current said, "I am no more Messiah than you." He said, "The river delights to lift us free. Just dare to let go. Our true work is the voyage, the journey, the adventure." But they cried out even louder, "Savior, Savior, Savior," and drowned out his message completely, while still clinging to the rocks. And when they looked again, he was gone, and they were left all alone, telling legends of a Savior who once lived. Let go to truly live. And we will then know the truth of who we are. We will then know what these teachers who were in these sacred rivers were telling us, were pointing us to. The truth inside of us, the wisdom inside of us, the power inside of us, the peace inside of us. They said, everything's already there. Just look inside. You too can do these things I do, and greater things will you do. At Christmas, Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus, and in Unity and New Thought, our emphasis is not as much on the birth of Jesus, although we honor him for sure. It's more on what Jesus demonstrated, and what Jesus demonstrated for us was the Christ, this consciousness within us, this truth within us. We see Jesus not so much as a savior, but more as a master teacher, a way shower, an elder brother who allowed us to help us by teachings and demonstrations of what is possible for all of us. It didn't end 2,000 years ago. A movement began, a breakthrough in consciousness began, and we were meant to carry it on, to continue down the river of life and peace and possibility and potentiality. So we save ourselves by letting go. Letting go of what? Well, lots of things, right? Letting go, mostly what it boils down to is letting go of limiting mental states. Letting go of the surface mind, the egoic way of being that says, it's always been that way, and that's why we do it. Or mom and dad taught me that, and their grandparents did it that way, and their grandparents did it that way, so why should you change it? You know, it's those kinds of things that we have embedded in our being that keep us in constriction, that keep us in places of limitation. And then that kind of rolls out into self-talk and other ways that we tell ourselves in so many words, we are not worthy, we are not enough, we are not safe, and therefore we can't let go of whatever it is that we think is somehow keeping us safe and in our small space of clinging. So whatever it is, it can be habits, behaviors, it can be all kinds of things that it might be time to let go. It's just whatever isn't serving us anymore. It may have served a purpose and run its course. And so for each of us individually, it might look a little bit different. It's that egoic voice in us that tells us 100 different ways why we shouldn't rock the boat or make waves, right? When we know there's a part of us, a resonant truth inside of us that knows that's exactly what is needed. And so can we take the risk? Can we be courageous enough to be the one who breaks out? Because that's all it really takes is one. And then the rest can see what's possible. Our personal river of life flows with the collective one. They are not separate. So when we make change individually, it affects the whole, right? And when a big change happens in humanity or in a group of people, and it affects us individually. And so it's not one or the other, but both and that are happening at the same time. We could see the collective and the individual also like tributaries that come together into the one river. Jesus showed us how to do that, how to personally flow with peace, to be at peace even in the midst of great conflict and turmoil, to stay in that place of alignment and strength, to keep that mountain of faith within, and then to move with whatever the circumstances and situations were, and also to be the voice, the courageous voice, the peaceful advocate for all, for the greater good, to lift everybody up. He was somebody who befriended, who aided, who even made his disciples and treated as his peers people who were ostracized in his day, poor people, women, people who were persecuted, tax collectors, prostitutes, Samaritans, you name it. If they were on the fringe, pushed away from society, Jesus was the one gathering them together and saying, come be a part of my circle. Come be a part of my community. Come be a part of my movement, which could change the world. And people came. These diverse groups of people came together. It only takes one of us. And then the others can see, that too could be done by me. Or I could join in that change. We are not meant to be here in stagnant water, in stagnant pools, just clinging, just getting by, just scraping through, right? We are not meant to be just hoping for the little trickle of good that might come our way. It's not what we were created for. It's not what we were made for. We are co-creators of life. We are meant to flow in the allness and the goodness and to know the magnificence of Spirit that wants so much to be known through us. You ever feel that, like Spirit's knocking on the door of your heart from the inside? There's like a push, maybe a pressure of water, like a river that wants to flow through the portal of your heart, through the process of your mind, maybe that single eye, that third eye that wants to see, that wants to vision, that wants to bring forth divine ideas that are bubbling up inside of you, and you can feel that kind of pressure from within you. Anybody with me? Do you ever feel that kind of thing? It's like something wants to be known through me, something wants to be expressed through me, and it feels really big sometimes, and that feels really scary sometimes, and then we really do this, right? Oh, no, I'm not doing that one. So sometimes it's a calling that we're afraid of, and sometimes it's a challenge that we're afraid to meet and to go through. And yet these teachers, like Jesus, showed us over and over, or the little creature at the bottom of the river, right? From the master teachers that we like to put up on pedestals to the smallest of creatures in the river, that kind of thing is probably happening in the river. There are groups of different kinds of beings that we don't even see or know about that are having the same kind of microcosmic experience as we are as a humanity, because we are all evolving. All life is in a spiritual evolution. And some of us will get on the bandwagon and flow with it, and some of us will just keep on clinging until that tipping mass, right? That critical mass that we say, we get to that critical mass, and it's like we all go, oh, yeah, no, let's flow. This looks great. So it's that process that is happening. Aeneas Nin said it really beautifully. She said, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And we all have been to that place, right? It's like, we just keep on, and then it's like, oh, no, I can't do this anymore. It's just I'm going to implode, and then we blossom. The flowering of our consciousness occurs, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. So has your day come? I would say yes. It comes moment by moment, right? There are opportunities moment by moment by moment and every day for us to shift, to change, to transform, to show up differently, to let go, to feel a greater sense of peace, to exude a greater sense of peace, and all these other qualities that we are really coming here to emulate and to know and to express and to explore and experiment with. So when the destination of this Advent journey, we all know, is Christmas, right? And it centers around, of course, the birth of Jesus. But this journey, this time between now and then, it really belongs to Mary. It's Mary's journey that is Advent, that is this time of preparation. And let's be frank, there would be no Jesus without Mary, right? So we kind of need Mary in the picture here. And it's easy for us to then, when we do turn our attention to Mary, to think of her in a one-dimensional way. We think of her as the symbol of divine love and motherhood, which is a beautiful and wonderful thing to be, yet she's so much more than that. She was also a young woman full of hopes and dreams, not yet married when she gets this worrisome news, perhaps devastating news, that she's pregnant. And not only are you pregnant, young Mary, but you're going to have a child who's going to change the world. Oh, I had different plans for my life. I mean, it's a lot to imagine, to take on, especially in that time, but even today, for a young woman to take that on, to bear that on her own. And what does Mary do? She processes really quickly. She takes it in, she's surprised, maybe she's worried and anxious and fearful. Every time the angels appear in the Christmas story, though, they say 3 words: fear not, or do not, 2 words, or do not be afraid. That was 4 words, wasn't it? Be not afraid. That's right. I knew there were 3 words. Thank you, Susan. I can always count on Susan to track with me. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. So there is that reassurance, right? That be not afraid. You can let go. You can enter the river of peace. And Mary shows us how. She affirms, after she processes very quickly, she affirms, here I am, a servant of God. Let it be done according to your word. And when we may say that in slightly different words, but it's kind of the same idea, isn't it? Here I am giving over to the divine guidance that has been given me. Here I am saying yes to the call of whatever it is that has been put in my path. Here I am even saying yes to the challenges that come my way, as well as the callings. Here I am willing, receptive, open, filled with faith, allowing, going with the river's flow. So Mary is a part of us. Mary is that part of us that is impregnated with spirit, that is carrying this potentiality within us that can help us break through to a whole nother way of being, to a whole nother kind of consciousness, one that might even influence the rest of humanity, or certainly at least the people around us in our lives. When we break through to another level, it helps the rest of the people uplift themselves as well. We all know that from being in different energies. You know what it's like to be in an energy of inspiration and positivity and joy versus being around an energy that just is draining and is all about what can't be, what won't be, if only, how awful it is, and pretty soon we're in it with folks, right? And we kind of like to jump in there. I know sometimes I get in there. We like to jump around and explore in there and talk about how awful it is, and then pretty soon just notice, stop for a minute and say, how am I feeling right now? I remember Marshall Rosenberg, who started nonviolent communication, sometimes known as compassionate communication. He said he went to a party and there were people he didn't know, and there were like 8 people standing around and they were talking for a while, and he couldn't stand it anymore. And he said, "How many of you are feeling uplifted by this conversation?" And everybody just kind of, whoa, you know. And he said, "I'm not. I'd like to change the subject. Everybody be okay with that?" And everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, like what a good idea," you know. So and that's the one, right? That's the one that we can be. We can be a change agent like that. In everyday life and everyday interactions, we can be the one that has the courage to say, "Are you feeling uplifted by this? Is this feeding you in any way? Is this solving any issues? Is this helping us in any way? Because I have another topic I'd really like to explore. Would you be okay with that?" And bring spirituality into the conversation, and people may not even know that it's about spirituality if you're in a kind of conversation where you don't want to talk about spirituality, or they don't want to hear about it. In that way, you just change the language up a little bit, that's all. As my friend used to say, I do sneaky prayers all the time. If people have no idea I'm praying for them, I'm affirming them up and down and all around. They leave feeling really good. So that's what we're up to. That's a little bit of what we're up to. We're up to a lot, aren't we? What if we met the circumstances of our lives like Mary did, as if it was a divine appointment? And then we were willing to say, oh, this is a divine appointment, even if it seems like it's something, not so great, but it feels kind of big, right? Like all the things we talked about this past fall, in the eye of the storm, the conflicts that come up, the difficulties that come up. What if we just went, oh, this must be my divine appointment? And we met it with that kind of openness and willingness and a willingness to let go of the control of the outcomes that we wish to have. It's a fun experiment to try and see what happens. So there's a movement happening now in the world, in the same region of the world where Mary came from in the Middle East. And that movement in that same part of the world where 2,000 years ago Mary brought forth this child who helped us shift the consciousness of humanity into a whole nother level, there's that kind of, potentially that kind of movement happening right now. There's a movement in Iran, you probably are aware of, sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini, who was a 22-year-old aspiring young attorney. And she was wearing a hijab, but a little bit of her hair apparently was showing, or she wasn't wearing it properly according to the morality police. And so she was arrested and actually died at the hands of police in detention there. And Rita Riasi, who's a part of our community who originally comes from Iran, I was asking her about it because we had a remembrance service on Thursday, and I said, would you like to honor Mahsa Amini's life? And she said, this is a young women's movement. Let me get a young woman for you. And she did. And so Narajas Siadin came along with a couple of her friends, and she spoke beautifully in honor of this movement that was started in Mahsa's name. And so much has happened in this peaceful demonstrations of all kinds of, this isn't just young women, they started the movement, but they're all the people in Iran, or you've probably seen this in Iran on the streets and so on. And I think over 400 people have lost their lives in this process, and thousands upon thousands have been detained. And good news came in today that the morality police have been dissolved. Yes. So movement happens, movement that we might have sat at home and thought, not possible. Never in my lifetime will I see it. You say anything like that? We won't see it in our lifetime, but maybe our grandchildren or our grandchildren's grandchildren. But it can happen now, whatever it is, if it is for the greater good, if it is for the dignity of the people, if it is for the freedom. The chant is women, life, freedom, that has been chanted around the world in solidarity with the Iranian people right now. And it's that possibility of cutting through to a place where all people then have greater freedoms. That's part of peace too. You know, we think of peace as gentle and flowing and harmonious, and it is all of that, which is really a wonderful feeling of peace and a beingness of peace. And we can be that and also be an amazing, powerful force for good. It's the kind of movement that Gandhi talked about. It's the kind of force that Gandhi talked about, satyagraha, which is soul force. That's peace too. And so it's that kind of willingness to allow the power of the river to also be part of the peace that we are in the world, to make change, to see it as possible, and then to become it. You know, when the creature let go, what happened? Initially, he got batted about, right? He got bruised and smashed on the rocks a little bit. But then he just kept saying, I'm going to trust, and I'll be lifted up, and I'll go on down the river. And this is often what happens, right? Since ancient times, we have thought of waters that are healing. They need to be troubled waters, right? They need to be stirred up. Today, we would call that a jacuzzi tub. But it's that idea that it's not a water that isn't flowing, that isn't troubled, that isn't stirred. And so too, when we say yes, when we let go, there might be a little trouble, there might be a little stirring up, but hold fast like the little creature. Well, don't hold fast, let go. Like the little creature, hold fast to your faith and your trust in the flow, that it will come. We will be lifted up by the current. I know all of us have been on journeys before where we have said yes to Spirit, we've made a commitment, and then it's like, oh my gosh, all these things come up, you know, these seeming obstacles, and we think, what? Are you kidding me? Did I say yes to the wrong thing? But you know, it's just it's a deepening, a process of our commitment, which is what was offered to the creature, which is what is offered to each of us when we let go, let go, let go. Years ago, I was thinking about this topic of letting go and peace. I lived in Missouri at the time, and my porch was icy, and I didn't realize it, and so I stepped outside, and luckily I had a handrail, because when I started to fall, I grabbed the handrail, and I was gripping that handrail while I sort of skated around. You know, my body was contorting. I was just really gripping it, and finally, I just let go. And it was snowy, and I just went down a couple stairs like this, and it was fine. I didn't get hurt. What hurt were my bruised hands from trying to control the fall. So what I learned was let go of the control. And what I also learned, which I've learned many times in my life, is that God has a really good sense of humor. And it helps to see it that way, you know, as we move in our lives. The river banks on a river help it give shape and give it a sense that it is surrounded and enfolded and protected. So when we let go and go into the river, it's not just some crazy wild ride of, you know, I have no idea how big, you know, generally there are banks, there are curves, there is a sense that we are held, there is a relative amount of protection. And along the way in that river of life, we will find those who have gone before, those who have let go and gone further down river before we got there. And when we see them, they are not our saviors, but they are our teachers because they've been there before. And at those, especially at those forks in the river, they can help guide us. Go that way. If you go that way, there's less twigs and rocks in the river. If you go that way, the flow is more gentle. You can choose to go that way. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you go that way, that's how it's going to be. And so we do have teachers in our lives, people in our lives, others who have gone before us, who have had the courage to let go, that will be there for us. So we're not just completely alone and abandoned to the wild ride of the river. In John's Revelation 22, an angel shows him the river of life. Then the angel showed me, he said, the river of the water of life as clear as crystal, and it was flowing from the throne of God. And if we think of ourselves as coming from that source, from the throne of God, then all we need to do is trust the flow, let go. Peace comes when we relax and let go. The next verse in that Revelation 22 is a symbol of peace for all of us. That on each side, it says, of the river stood the tree of life, and the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. The poet John O'Donohue gives us inspiration for our affirmation today. He said, I would love to live like a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding. I would love to live like a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding. Let's affirm something like that together. I am living like the river flows. I let go and am carried by the surprise of divine unfolding. So it is.
Thank you, Kristin. 2,600 years ago, Buddha said, if you want to end suffering, stop clinging. Right? There we go.
Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you are a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Our prayer chaplains wear the beautiful lavender stoles.
Whether you have a joy or a concern in your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness.
Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. We all know this. As we give, so we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
And for your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to the community, in addition to checks and cash. You may download the Give app or scan the QR code on the back of the yellow card that is in your back of your chair, or set up bill pay through your bank so you don't have to think about it anymore. And those of you at home, you can click on the donate button on the Watch Live page.
I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Thank you.
2, 3, 4. When I was younger, I remember Grandma's house in late December. We all gathered around the Christmas tree. Those times are filled with fun and laughter. It can last forever after, as the spirit stays in you and me. And we wish you a season of harmony, wishing on a star from above. most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Merry Christmas, y'all. And we wish you a season of harmony, wishing on a star from above. And we wish you a season of happiness, but most of all, we wish you Christmas love. And most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Yeah, most of all, we wish you Christmas love. Christmas love. Christmas love. Christmas love. Christmas love. Thank you.
Well, let's bless all this goodness for the music that fills our hearts with the peace and the truth that we walk with and flow with together, the celebrations around the world of democracy and peace and freedom for all, and for these gifts that represent the abundant good that we have named and so many other blessings that are held in our hearts. Let's say it together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. Thank you. All right.
We are a circle of love. We are a circle of light. Come join the circle of love. Come join the circle of light. The light in you and the light in me are one. We are a circle of love. We are a circle of light. Come join the circle of love. Come join the circle of light. Light in you and the light in me are one. The light in you and the light in me are one.
Yay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. We got a lot of kids today. Yeah. We have Bianca and Amelia and Grace and Madeline and Ella and Ava and baby JJ. And then we have Elijah, who's out back with his mom. So blessed to spend time with all these kiddos. And we were talking about peace today. What are some things that bring you peace, make you feel peaceful, that we talked about today? Who wants to share? Yeah.
Reading.
Reading. Anyone else out there like reading? Does it make you feel peaceful? Yeah. What else, guys? Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
My elf brings me peace.
Your elf. Yeah. Anyone else have an elf that brings them peace? Or a little crazy, creative, little magical being that comes in your house and creates mischief? Yeah. The rain. Yeah. Yeah. Rain brings me peace too. Oh, say, what? Who is that? Who is that?
for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas?
My toy.
Say louder.
My toy.
Okay, we'll make that happen.
Hi, Santa. What a surprise. Wow, Anyone have anything to say to Santa? What do you want to say? We're glad you're here.
I love all the children.
Merry Christmas.
Who's your favorite reindeer?
Santa loves all the reindeer and does not have favorites. Just like all of you children, I love all of you, and I don't have favorites of you either. I love every one of you.
Do you pay our elves?
My elves work for minimum wage and out of the joy of serving children.
But do you at least have a manager?
Would you like to apply for the job? You're hired.
Oh, thank you, Santa. Thank you, everyone.
I've heard a rumor that Father Christmas might be back on Christmas Day. So if you want to learn a little bit more about him and his life, he's going to share a little bit more with us that day. So that's what I heard. I hope it's true. All right, let's bless our children and youth and teachers. Together, children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Invite everybody to share with us in the prayer of protection. And since we've presenced Iran today and all that is happening there, let's send this prayer of protection to the young women's movement and the people's movement in Iran. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Peace on. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
You are the light and the faith and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine Have fun and spread joy. We'll see you at the Holiday Craft Fair.